Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're on the way now to 12,000 subscribers, a big milestone. And of course, if you could click the like button, I would be incredibly grateful as well. It's a Thursday. We're nearly at the end of the week. There's plenty to talk about. Let me just slightly turn that up. And there's loads of you here, which we absolutely love to see. We'll be talking about Merino, which is definitely getting closer now. We'll talk a bit about last night's game. Obviously, some of you stayed up and watched it with me. The second half was a bit of a slog, it has to be said. But there are things to talk about from that. And then obviously, we're into the final month now of the transfer window. And what do we expect to happen within the rest of the transfer window? So plenty to talk about. Junior Films, Woodsy, Jack Sachs, Anu Brata, Ethan Udal, Vivi Vlad, top player, Sam Kenny, Drax, Lord Ferguson of Aberdeen, Cringe Mia, Alex Johnson, Leeds Gunner, Saliba, Coolan, and many, many more. It is good to see you all. I hope you're all doing very well. Willsy's in here as well. Hit that like button on your way. And yes, please do. Let's get us up to 100 likes just as quickly as possible. That would be absolutely fantastic. Summer holidays for the win. No teaching teenagers. And I catch all the streams. You'll love to see it. You do love to see it. Hyper, good to see you. Totally late, but we move. It's fine. It happens to the best of us. Francisco, good to see you as well. Love the new TikTok series. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've got a new challenge. We have the new challenge. Also, hit 100,000 followers on Instagram today. So any of you that follow me on Instagram, massively appreciate that. Hitting 100,000 on there is crazy, absolutely crazy to think about. But look, let's crack on. Let's crack on and get stuck in. And we'll start with Merino. Merino is the good news because it sounds like it is very, very close now. Fabrizio Romano said Arsenal and Sociedad are very, very close to finding an agreement for Merino. The player is wanted by Arteta. The package will be something like 30 million euros. Merino is expected to be the second summer signing after Ricardo Calafiori. So, of course, that is coming from the big dog Fabrizio. Ryan Taylor also said Arsenal are in the process of finalising the signing of Mikel Merino and have submitted a verbal proposal worth £25 million plus bonuses. So again, that ties into the 30 million euros that Fabrizio said. Sources suggest the bid is considered acceptable, even if a total agreement is yet to have been reached. Personal terms have already been agreed, and if all goes to plan, Arsenal are prepared to exchange documents with Real Sociedad by the end of the week, once they've agreed upon a payment structure and finalised the add-ons, including with a potential agreement. And then finally, Ed Aarons said Arsenal have made a 30 million euro bid for Merino, which is expected to be accepted by Real Sociedad. So it does very much feel like this is going to get done, and it's going to get done quickly. Mo, it is good to see you in the chat. Like the video, people. It helps the channel massively. Mo is correct. It does help. And honestly, you lot have been absolutely smashing it recently in terms of hitting the like button, and the views are going up with it, and the channel is growing. So for that, I am incredibly grateful to all of you for. But yeah, the Merino, I think, I made a TikTok on it today. I think it's a very good deal. I think 30 million euros for a player of his quality, it just makes sense. It's a no-brainer at that value. I saw a thing. It seems like Barcelona really did drop the ball on this. Barcelona were quite close to getting Merino done, and they ended up pivoting their attention away to basically Nico Williams and Dani Olmo. And whilst they were faffing around with that, trying to work out how they were going to pay for it, Mikel Arteta hit up Mikel Merino and said, hey, why don't you come to a decent team? No, that's disrespectful to Barcelona. But yeah, basically they dropped the ball and we swooped in, and it seems like we're going to get it done. And you have to look at this as a floor raiser. You have to look at it as a floor raiser. You have to look at it for what it is. In terms of the place that he is replacing in the squad, for as long as we still have Thomas Partey and Jorginho, he is replacing Mohamed El-Neni. We're going from Mohamed El-Neni to Mikel Merino. That is a massive, massive upgrade. And for 30 million euros, which is like, 25 million quid, less than that, that's a bargain. And it doesn't stop us going out and getting that big elite midfielder long term, because this is a small amount of money in the grand scheme of things. Will he be a starter? He will start games. Again, whether or not he'll be a settled starter, whether it will rotate between him and Jorginho, depending on the game. I mean, what I really like is that what he offers is what Declan Rice needs if Declan Rice is staying as the 6. So when we had Declan Rice playing as the 6, right? And it was working really well to an extent. But when Rice was played alongside Havertz or Vieira or Trossard, Rice had to do so much defensive work. He was so responsible for being that kind of last line before the back line that it really didn't allow him to do much going forwards. And so when we changed it up and we put Jorginho in there with him, that then allowed Declan Rice to do much more going forwards, to the point where some people are now saying Declan Rice is an 8. I still don't think Declan Rice is an 8. I think he's a 6 that can play very well as an 8. But you bring in a Merino who will play as the 8, he'll play as the left 8, but who has unbelievable stats when it comes to duels, aerial duels, winning the ball back, recoveries. He will do the work alongside Rice. And so it will mean it almost becomes a double pivot. It will be very similar to what we saw. When we saw Jorginho and Rice in the big games, Rice was the 6 and Jorginho was the 8, which is weird because you wouldn't associate Jorginho with doing that. But in the big games against the big midfields, that's what they would do. But actually, it was basically a double pivot. And at times, Rice would initiate the press and Jorginho would sit in for him. And Merino can do that. And it'll allow both of them to get forward. The difference between Merino and Jorginho is that Merino is more athletic. Physically, he is more dominant. He will win far more duels in the midfield. And he's also better going forwards. The goal-scoring output of Merino is very, very good. And so I think in a lot of ways, this is just an upgrade on Jorginho for that partnership in midfield in terms of what we saw in the second half of last season. So do I think it will be the long-term partnership? No. I still think there's capacity for that elite midfielder to come in alongside Declan Rice. But for now, I think it's an upgrade. I think it's an upgrade to the squad for not a lot of money. He's 28 years old. You know, people talk about 28 years old being too old. He's in his prime. Like, that is prime age, and he's in it now. Yes, we won't make a profit on him. You know, if we let's say we do a 5-year deal and he gets to age 33. If we lose him on a free, it doesn't matter. You know, that means it's cost you 6 million euros a year. That does not matter, especially if you go on and win things with him. So, yeah, we'll get a full contract of him in his prime. Happy days. I really do think it's just an absolute no-brainer. Anyone complaining about this deal in isolation, I think is wrong. If this ends up somehow being the only midfield signing that we make over the next 2 years and we never go and get that elite midfielder, then I think you can question it and you can criticize it. But what you're actually criticizing isn't the Merino signing, it's the lack of another signing. This signing in isolation is very, very good. What's his wage? I don't think it'll be a lot. I don't think his wage will be a lot. I don't think he was on a huge amount at Sociedad, so it shouldn't be too bad. Feels like a Xhaka replacement? It very much is. It very much is a Xhaka replacement. His injury record is good. Over the last few years, he's had very few injuries, and the injuries he has had haven't been significant. I think he missed 2 games last season, but it was literally he was out for a week, and they had 2 games that week. The season before that, I think he maybe missed 4 games in total, but it was just 2 really small injuries. So, his injury record is good. And he is physically, he's an absolute monster. His ability in the air, I mean, you saw the headed goal that he scored for Spain at the Euros. But in general, he's an absolute monster aerially. So I just think it's a very good signing. And especially, by the way, I definitely see this season, you know, based on last night, I see the midfield more often being Rice and Merino than Partey and Rice. I think I'm growing, and this is why he's on the thumbnail, because I wanted to talk about it. I'm growing more and more concerned about Thomas Partey's physicality, the physical side of his game, how his body is now. I'm concerned. Partey off the ball, jogging. I can't remember the last time I saw Thomas Partey sprint off the ball. There was one point last night, he got dispossessed in midfield and fine, you can say it's a friendly, but there's even within a friendly, you still have to be doing the basics. And it was like he got dispossessed in midfield and he just stood still. He literally watched 3 Liverpool players break away from him with the ball, having been dispossessed, and he just stood still. So I am genuinely worried about. Do you know what? This is the truth. Actually, it reminded me a bit of Casemiro last season. You know, where suddenly Casemiro physically had just completely dropped off. Last night reminded me a bit of that, and that's a concern. Merino's on 52 grand a week, apparently. There you go. Even if we double his salary up to 100k a week, that's not really a problem for a player like him. Do Jorginho and Partey just play relegation teams and cup games? Possibly, to an extent, yeah. I still think Jorginho's got the capability. I still think Jorginho, because the difference is Jorginho's never needed his physicality. Jorginho's never been a physical player. He's never had pace. He's never had strength. He's the sort of player that really relies on his brain, right? And the brain is the last thing to go. In football, you lose everything before you lose your brain. So Jorginho's, I think he'll be all right this season. But with Partey, I am concerned. As I am concerned with Zinchenko. I'm really concerned with Zinchenko. And this comes on to what we need to do for the rest of this window. I think we need to sell Zinchenko. I think we need to sell Reiss Nelson. You know, again, Reiss Nelson last night, I didn't think he was good enough. I looked at the right wing last night, and this is my worry. Reiss Nelson in the first half, Fabio Vieira in the second half, they're just nowhere near Bukayo Saka. And look, we're not going to bring someone in, probably, that is on Saka's level, but we need someone that's closer to it. Because I promise you, at some point, Saka is going to be unavailable. Even if it's only for a month, Saka's going to be unavailable. And if you're playing twice a week, that's 8 games. That can derail your season completely. If you have to go from Saka to either Reiss Nelson or Fabio Vieira. Okay, maybe it can be Jesus, but I think it's a problem. And I know there aren't many buyers out there, and this is a problem. And I just uploaded a video on TikTok again about actually the general transfer window across the board in the Premier League this summer. There's a month to go at this point. Outgoings, Premier League clubs' net spend is a quarter of what it was by the end of last summer. Like, teams are not spending money. And so that does make it more difficult. But, you know, I was reading this from Ryan Taylor. Arsenal's work in the transfer window, in the transfer market, is by no means over, even if they land Mikel Merino. Arteta and Edu do still remain open to strengthening in attack, and a wide player remains of great appeal, though any deal could be dependent on the future of Reiss Nelson. And I think it has to be. I think Reiss Nelson needs to be sold. I wonder now as well. I do wonder where Fabio Vieira fits in this squad. Because to me, Fabio Vieira has not been used in midfield this pre-season. Where Fabio Vieira has been used, it's been off the right-hand side. Nwaneri has been used in the midfield. So if Nwaneri is ahead of Fabio Vieira as a midfield option, that leaves Fabio Vieira as your right wing backup. And I just don't think physically he is capable of doing that job. I don't think he has the ability to take a player on. I don't think he has the strength that you need as a winger. I don't think he has the defensive capability that Bukayo Saka has. So I worry about it. In fact, I'd argue that defensive capability is probably the biggest weakness. Saka, the amount of work he does defensively, I don't think Fabio Vieira does that. So I am slightly worried. Slightly better news on Eddie Nketiah today. Fabrizio Romano said Marseille have reached an agreement with Eddie Nketiah on personal terms. It's now up to Marseille to find an agreement with Arsenal. Negotiations continue, but a deal is not yet close. So he's saying a deal's not yet close. Fraz Fletcher said Eddie Nketiah is close to joining Marseille after the club made an improved offer to Arsenal worth £26 million, which includes £3 million in add-ons. While the player has been offered huge wages, and there are some people reporting that Eddie Nketiah is set to become the 3rd highest paid player at Marseille. 26 million with 3 million of that being in add-ons. So basically 23 million plus 3 million in add-ons. That would be okay. That would be okay. I think that would be acceptable. And getting 100 grand a week off the books. I do think that deal is going to happen pretty quickly. It seems like Nketiah wants to do it. And we have to. And then it's about where we spend that money. I was told it was extremely humid for the Liverpool match, maybe. Maybe Partey isn't quite match fit. Possibly. It was humid. It was very hot for the game yesterday. They had, I think, at the half an hour mark and the hour mark, or the half an hour mark and the 75-minute mark, they had drinks breaks. I do think it was hot, but yeah. Partey looked miserable. We need a replacement. Mad humid here in America. It's mad humid here. I'm roasting. I'm absolutely roasting. Take it before they come to their senses. Yeah, I mean, look, I do think they're getting if Marseille pay 23 million for him, I do think they are getting a good enough player for 23 million. Like, I think they're getting reasonable value there. But equally, I think it's decent for us. I'm one who thinks he should be 35 million or more, but I'm outnumbered and probably unrealistic. It's one of those. The issue is, Sai, would you want us to pay 35 million for Eddie Nketiah, for the career that Nketiah has had, for what Nketiah has shown over the last 18 months? Would you want us to spend 35 million on that? That's the question. It's 37 degrees here. Yeah, that's toasty. It was 38 degrees in Rome at the weekend. But everything had aircon, so it wasn't as bad. I generally think we're waiting for Osman or Gyökeres late in the window. Possibly. Stack him against, for instance, Jackson. Yes, to an extent. And that's where I kind of agree. If Broja ends up going for like 27 million, then I kind of agree. However, that's like saying stack, Smith Rowe against Enzo Fernandez. I think the issue is you're comparing it with Chelsea, who I think have massively overspent on players. And that's where it's difficult. And I do think that's part of a genuine issue where Chelsea have screwed the market in general. And I think that's one of the reasons that teams are spending less money this summer. Because everyone wants more than they should be getting because they use their reference point is last summer or the summer before that, where players were just going for far too much money. And I think that's an issue. I think I look back, I only realized or remembered today how much Rasmus Højlund was. Rasmus Højlund was like 70 million euros. So again, if you're using that as a reference point, then yeah, you can understand why, for example, Sporting wouldn't want to let Gyökeres go for 60 million or 70 million because that's the same amount that Højlund went for. And Gyökeres has shown himself to be far better than that. So it's difficult. It is difficult. Rory always bringing the sense bomb. I try. One other bit of news today that I heard or saw, it came from Gazzetta Italia, right? So take it with a pinch of salt. Adrian Rabiot has many suitors with Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Arsenal in pole position. The player views playing in the Champions League as essential at his next club. What do you think? Adrian Rabiot on a free. He'll be on big wages. And to all intents and purposes, he's a bit of a knob. What do you think? Rabiot. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. His agent is his mum, and apparently she's an absolute nightmare, like the mother-in-law from hell. He apparently believes he's better than he is. He'll want big money, and I think he's decent, but nothing special. But, according to Gazzetta Italia, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Arsenal are in pole position to get him on a free. So, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I wouldn't want him. Am I back? Am I back? That was crazy. That was crazy. No, that wasn't even flipping Virgin. We literally just got hit by lightning. I don't know what point the stream cut out. I don't know if you saw my reaction. I thought a bomb had gone off. I've never ever been that close to lightning in my life. Legitimately, I thought there had just been a massive explosion outside. That was insane. I don't know where I was. We're talking about Rabiot. We're talking about Rabiot's mum. Jesus Christ. Honestly, I just shit myself. Absolutely shit myself. That's the gods telling me that we do not want Adrian Rabiot. We do not want Adrian Rabiot. Why am I shocked? Because I've just been hit by... I think the house just got hit by lightning. That was insane. That was absolutely insane. You look deep in thought when you froze? Okay. So literally, the lightning hitting must have instantly stopped the stream. That was crazy. Anyway, look, we're back. We're back. Apologies for that. God, that was crazy. Did your PC turn off? No, nothing turned off. No, the lightning just hit something. I don't know. Honestly, I thought that a bomb had gone off. That was crazy. Was it actually lightning? Yeah, I think so. Or it was a bomb. It might have been. I don't think it was a bomb. I don't think it was a bomb. Anyway, we're back. We're fine. We're alive. Apparently, we agree personal terms with Gyökeres, but it's from caught offside. Yeah, caught offside. Caught offside. Don't you think you should check for damage? Well, I probably should check for damage, yeah, but we've got a stream to do, so I'll deal with that later. The internet's come back, so it can't be that much damage. Would you rather go for an expensive winger or a striker? Winger. Right now, the most important thing is a winger. 100%. Kai Havertz last night looked very, very good, even though he was playing in midfield. Now, I still don't think it works having him in midfield, especially with Thomas Partey and Zinchenko, who physically are just not there. But individually, Kai Havertz, even though he was playing in that role, looked hungry for the ball, looked confident on the ball, scored his goal. The recoveries were there. So I'm happy for Kai Havertz to continue at striker at the start of this season. I don't mind that. And then you've got... Yeah, it was definitely lightning because I've just seen it flash again. Then you've got Jesus, right? Who looks a bit sharper. There you go. There's the thunder. So yeah, I don't mind that. The right wing is in danger. Because actually, I think the best backup right winger that we have, outside of Jesus, and if we sell Reece Nelson, is Ethan Nwaneri. So it's tricky. Are you sitting on a rubber chair? No, I'm not. The weather's going crazy out there. This is some crazy shit. Merino will be what Arteta wanted Kai to be in the 8? Yeah, possibly. Honestly, I want Rafinha. Rafinha would do at this point. That's the truth. At this point, Rafinha would do. Bakayoko from PSV I still like. Neto is the dream at this point. You sound like Keir Starmer saying the right wing is in danger. Yeah, well, our right wing is in danger. Trossard over Nwaneri for now. Not off the right. I really do not rate Trossard off the right. Whenever we've seen it, it just doesn't work, in my opinion. I would rather, and I think the dynamics are better if it's Nwaneri. When do you expect Merino signing? Early next week, probably. I think they'll agree it by the end of this week, over the weekend, and then we'll see it early next week. Maybe a little bit of an unveiling at the Emirates Cup. That would be cool. That would be good. Can we talk about the Miles Lewis-Skelly performance yesterday? Yeah, look, Miles Lewis-Skelly got 20 minutes yesterday. He continues to look impressive. Looks so composed. He looks really composed, comfortable on the ball, really good understanding of where he's meant to be. Good player. Good player. A bomb? Maybe it was Ornstein announcing a new Arsenal signing. I mean, that would have been sensational. It would have been. What other midfielder would you bring in other than Merino? Well, that's the issue at the moment, right? Who's out there? Now, João Neves going for 60 to 70 million, I think, is crazy. Other than that, the market's not great. The market's not great. I think that is an issue. And I think that is something Arsenal are probably looking at. Are we waiting for someone else to come along next summer? Sane's on 300 grand a week. I don't think we're getting Sane. I think the Sane thing was nonsense. I just think it was nonsense. I think people tried to tie it to the mystery German thing to give that some sort of credibility. I don't think any of it was true. I don't think the mystery German was true. I don't think the Sane link is true. I just don't. Why is tomorrow's stream at 6 p.m, not 6:30? Oh, yeah. So to let you know, tomorrow's stream is half an hour early. It's at 6 p.m. rather than 6:30 p.m. Basically, because straight after that, I've got to drive back to my parents' house for the weekend. So there's no streams this weekend either, unfortunately. But yeah, tomorrow's stream is half an hour earlier just so that I can drive back a little bit earlier tomorrow night, basically. But yeah, there you go. Is Kimmich still on the cards? I don't think so. There's not really been any links to it. So I don't think so. That João Neves deal definitely had backdoor payments involved. Makes no sense that no one else came in. I agree. Arsenal and United were both quoted over 100 million. That's factual. Arsenal and United were both quoted over 100 million. And he's ended up going for 60 to 70 to PSG. There's something dodgy in that deal, 100%. How was Deadpool last night? Deadpool was brilliant. If you've not seen Deadpool versus Wolverine, easily the best Marvel film since Endgame, in my opinion. Very, very good. Like, just very funny. Doesn't take itself seriously. Yeah, very good. It's George Mendes doing? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Eze and Merino, our midfield is set. Gyökeres will be the perfect window. Yeah, Eze is still potentially going to make a move at some point this window. It feels like there hasn't been a blockbuster transfer this summer in the Premier League. There hasn't been. That's what I was just talking about on TikTok. The biggest transfer this window into the Premier League is Lenny Yoro. The second biggest is Onana going from Everton to Villa. Like, there haven't been, considering last summer we had Rice, Caicedo, Gvardiol, Havertz, Szoboszlai. This window, yeah, not a lot at all. If you've not seen Endgame, I mean, yeah, I'd probably start there. Have you seen the Gyökeres is a Liverpool target now? I hadn't seen that. I find that interesting, though. I find that interesting. Why Partey in the thumbnail? Just because I think he's illustrative of a problem that we've got where we're not making sales that we should be making. And last night, I thought he looked off it. And I think, that's a transfer that we should be a sale that we should be making. I think we need to be more savage. I think we need to be more savage at this point. Zinchenko's got to go. Partey's got to go. Reece Nelson's got to go. And Nketiah's got to go. So yeah, that's basically why he was on the thumbnail. I would love Chiesa. He would be a Saka back. I don't rate Chiesa. Post injury Chiesa for me, not the one. Hey Rory, I'm excited to see Merino come in. Gyökeres probably going to come as well. I'm buzzing. I don't know. I don't know if I would say that Gyökeres is probably going to come. I mean, I'm hopeful that he will. Give Partey a break. To be honest, you can't give him. You can't. I actually disagree with that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Can we get Rory to 12K during the stream? Yeah, man. Like and subscribe. No, I disagree with this, that giving Partey a break. He's one of our highest paid players. He's one of the most expensive signings that we had because of the fact that we had to pay his release clause up front. We have to demand, a high level out of him, in my opinion. You have always been on Partey's dick. Give him a break. That's just not even true. That's not even true. At the end of last season, I thought he was fantastic when he came back. And I spoke highly of him when he came back. I'm just saying what I'm seeing during pre-season. Why do you think it's that we're not pursuing world-class players? How many are available? I think that's one question we've got to ask. Like, it's not just us. It's not just us that hasn't made a big... No one has made a big signing. Like I said, the biggest signing so far in the Premier League this summer has been Lenny Yoro. He's not world-class. The second biggest was Onana. He's not world-class. Like, there aren't big, elite, world-class transfers being made. The market's just not right for it at the moment. Do you think any of our players aren't 100% for lack of getting injured on the turf? Do I think they're not giving 100% because they're worried? Maybe. Maybe there's an element of that, yeah. Yeah. If you had to pick one to never get injured, who would you pick? Wilshere or Smith Rowe? Wilshere. Wilshere had proven comfortably that he was world-class potential. Like, world-class potential. Emile Smith Rowe showed a lot of promise, but Jack Wilshere, without injury, would have gone on to be one of the great Premier League midfielders. Our ceiling was good enough to lift the Premier League the last 2 seasons. Our floor wasn't. That's very true. That is a very, very good point. Our ceiling is good enough. Our floor is not good enough. The depth of our squad is what cost us over the last couple of seasons. So it is just as important to bring that up. Why wasn't Timber in the squad yesterday? Apparently he was being rested. Timber was rested yesterday, which I find interesting. I don't want to be negative, but I do find it slightly concerning. Is there still an element of that injury that he feels? I don't know. That stadium is normally grass for the NFL. Yeah. Partey's going to prove you wrong. Keep hating. Okay. I'm not hating. I'm criticizing, and I think quite fairly criticizing. I said before the window had even opened that I still thought Partey needed to be sold this summer because of his injury history. And I would be more than happy if he proved me wrong. Like, you know, we don't just sit in a sphere where we can't criticize anyone for anything. Tony will be cheaper option. If we want a Prem, it's worth it. Yeah, well, Ivan Toney's nothing's really happened with Ivan Toney, which is a bit weird. I would be pissed if Timber was not brought back carefully. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, look, we don't need to rush him back. So, do you think Arteta will trust our squad depth more this season and rotate players a lot more than he has the last 2 seasons? I think he has to. I think there comes a point with Arteta where you have to say, because it has cost us not rotating, whether you like it or not, whether you think that he couldn't rotate because of the depth of the squad. That's a fair point, and I agree. At times, you'd rather a 70% Ben White than Cedric Suarez, right? And at times he had to do that. But there comes a point where he has to rotate because it does cost you. There were times last season where we were absolutely knackered and that cost us games. Fulham away, we were shattered and it cost us. There comes a point where you have to say, this is entirely your squad. Like, you've had the time to build a full squad. You have to use that squad. So, yeah, I do think that that's important this season. How many goals do you think Havertz and Jesus will get next season? Jesus is a tricky one because I don't know how much he'll play. Havertz, I think, will get 20 goals in all competitions next season. I think Havertz will get 20 goals in all comps and probably 10 to 15 assists as well. I think he's going to have a massive season. I think Brentford striker just got injured, so I don't think Tony will leave this summer. Yes, that is actually true. What was his name? Yeah, I can't remember his name, but Brentford did sign a striker. Igor, was it Igor something or other? And he's literally just got a pretty bad injury in pre-season. So that could mean that maybe they keep Tony until like January because of that. Wow, Lightning here too, a big one. There you go. Igor Thiago, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, the lightning's gone crazy. The lightning's gone crazy. I think we really got to step up in the market and get more players because I can't go a whole season again just to finish second. But again, like, who do you want? Who's out there? It's tricky. I'm on both sides because I do think there's more work to be done. Yeah, a transfer window of Calafiori and Merino is not enough. But equally, it's tough. It's tough out there. So there you go. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner. I'm going to give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. So get your fingers on your keyboards because we are starting now. Clue number 1. This player scored 14 goals in 51 games for Arsenal. Clue number 1. This player scored 14 goals in 51 games for Arsenal. Clue number 2, they made their Premier League debut in 2020. Clue number 2, they made their Premier League debut in 2020. Clue number 3, they played more games for Bayer Leverkusen than any other club. Clue number 3, they played more games for Bayer Leverkusen than any other club. Clue number 4, they've made 51 appearances for Germany. Clue number 4, they've made 51 appearances for Germany. And clue number 5, they joined Arsenal last summer. Clue number 5, they joined Arsenal last summer. Should be an easy one. It should be an easy one. Let's have a gander. And the winner is... The winner is Sportcat. The winner is Sportcat, a Chelsea fan. It was a Chelsea player, an ex-Chelsea player. Sportcat won it, though. Congratulations to Sportcat. Second was... Ultra Pro Gamer was second. Nuances of Fate was third. MC Gaming was fourth. And Mia was fifth. So there you go. Sportcat, congratulations. Congratulations. The ex-Chelsea coming in clutch for him. There you go. Very, very good. And now it is time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. And you have to guess who that player is. Nearly died in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community, but not as much respect as Sportcat currently has. This player started their career at AJ Auxerre. They started their career at AJ Auxerre. They moved permanently to Liverpool. They went on loan to Marseille. They then moved permanently to Marseille. They went on loan to Sunderland. They then moved permanently to Panathinaikos. They then moved permanently to Lazio. They then moved permanently to QPR. They then went on loan to Al Gharafa. They then moved permanently to Kuban Krasnodar. They then moved permanently to SC Bastia. They moved permanently to Saint Pierrois. They then moved permanently to Yurvidon Sport. And they moved permanently to PAL Chicago. And loads of you have got it in the chat to the point I'm not even going to bother going through it again. But who was first? Who was first? My internet is dying. This thunderstorm is butchering the internet, so I apologize if I am cutting out at all. But the winner it's Ross Lawman. Ross Lawman is back on top. It was indeed Jibril Cisse. Ross Lawman was first. Ethan Udall was second. Ryan Henderson was third. Sam Shapiro, I think, was fourth. He was trying for it. And Nuances of Fate was fifth. So there you go. Congratulations to Ross Lawman. Sportcat and Ross Lawman are the winners. And there we go. Look, that is going to be the end of the stream. This thunderstorm is causing issues. I'll be live on Twitch later, hopefully, as normal, same time. Link is in the description to that. Reminder, tomorrow, the live stream is half an hour early. We're starting at 6 p.m. tomorrow. And then there won't be any live streams over the weekend, unfortunately. But look, I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Please do like and subscribe before you leave. And I will catch you all later this evening or tomorrow. Goodbye.